Jerry Jeudy, take that L on the way out. You're not going to stop us from making the playoffs again, because the next time Sean Payton only wins 7 games, it'll be his first time, and it's not this time. Woo-wee! What a way to go into our bye week as the Denver Broncos win one of the most gut-wrenching, heart-pounding games that I can remember in a long, long time. We're going to break it all down, the great news that we got for our playoff push, why I think the mistakes that we saw tonight are very, very fixable, and all the great news that we got. If you're new to this channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan. I said the floor for this team was 9 wins, and that's the next game that we win, y'all, is already our floor for this team. We've got so much to believe in, and the future is out in front of us, but man, I'm not going to fall asleep till like 2 in the morning. My heart is just absolutely pounding. Let's dive in here. So, after being only predicted to win 5 games this season, we've already hit 8. And just like that, we had looked at this schedule coming up with the latest possible bye week the NFL could give you. With playing a team who's on 10 days rest, who's a very good team. Like, a lot of people are going to chalk this game up and be like, hey, this team's really bad. Broncos are only beating bad teams. Well, this team beat the Baltimore Ravens and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And had Jameis played this entire season, I think they would have been a playoff team. Like, they were the hottest team in football last year when we beat them, again, when they had Josh Dobbs in there. And then they had to play, Deshaun this year, and everything fell off the tracks for them. But, man, this is a good team. This was the best passing defense in the entire NFL last year, and Bo Nix just won a shootout against a very, very good team. And just like that, with the latest possible bye week we could have, we have a 77% chance of making the playoffs. We get the Colts now after a bye week, who is in playoff contention, kind of right nipping at our heels there. But we're talking a 2-game lead. They are 6-7. I think we match up extremely well with the Colts, and just like that, we'll be 9-5 with an even bigger lead on that, and really a 2-game lead with 4 games to play with our bye week, when all these other teams are going to be like dog tired and injured. And it's not just playing for that 7th spot. Like, look, right now we're tied with Baltimore. Obviously, they beat us in the head-to-head. They got some tough matches going up. Houston's going to win their division, so we're not going to jump them for that. But this Chargers game, we're really a half game behind the Chargers, with getting to play them on a short week, again, with us being a very rested team. So the future is all out in front of us. 2-game lead on that wild card spot. The playoffs are coming. This just feels absolutely incredible. So the big takeaways, the good news that we get is playoffs are in sight, 77% chance. You would take that. That is an honor roll student at Thornton High School, where I graduated from. If you're just getting 77s, top of your class there. But other great news that we see is that Bo Nix won a shootout. He did have 2 interceptions today, but if you've watched the Broncos for a long time, we dropped 41 points, and that anytime we've been in prime time, it's like you're winning 14-9 games. So like you're barely getting in the end zone. You're getting field goals. And it's like this team, yes, we had 2 pick sixes, but we had 41 points. And Bo Nix was pushing the ball down the field, tying Jay Cutler and one other quarterback for the longest throw for a Broncos quarterback with a 93-yard dart, backed up with Myles Garrett in his face. He just nails Marvin Mims in like the tightest window you could even imagine. Absolutely fantastic. And you're seeing former quarterbacks. The coolest part about that throw to me was that this was right after Troy Aikman was throwing him under the bus and being like, well, Bo Nix is, he's really pushing. He's not doing well right there. And just boom, 93-yard dart to Marvin Mims. And right after that, you see Chase Daniels come out and say, hey, I was with Drew Brees for 5 years, and he also is very intimately familiar with Sean Payton's system. And he's like, I can't tell you how much he is looking like Drew Brees. And that is fantastic news, that if our running game can start picking it up, if our defense can snap back here, this team is going to be a very tough out. Even during the game, I get a text from a dude in my fantasy football league. Shout out Justin. And he was like, he's a massive Buffalo fan. And he's like, I don't want to play the Broncos. I don't. Like, that's the only team in the entire AFC that scares me is the Broncos. You've put the whole league on notice. And so that's fantastic. So looking here, Jerry Jeudy, also great news that Jerry Jeudy, I saw a stat come in that Jerry Jeudy had 8% of his total yards for the entirety of his Denver Broncos career in this one game. So Jerry Jeudy, way to save yourself for this game. Congrats, man. Take that L on your way out. Love this tweet from Josh Dover at 104, the 3 of the fan. He's like, Jared Jeudy came in here and said he's going to whip our butt. Well, congrats, man. Have a night and then watch us next month in the playoffs. The thing that we never could get in when you were here because you made that all about you and not about the team. And just fantastic that even with Jameis Winston breaking records for the yardage for a Browns receiver, even with Jerry Jeudy setting the record for yards against us as a wide receiver, we come out with the win, and that is absolutely fantastic. Bo Nix, I thought, looked like him tonight. I know his doubters will look at the total stats, and he had to throw the ball a ton, but really on third down against a very, very good defense, he was 7 for 11 with 156 passing yards and 1 touchdown. That would have been a good game for Russell Wilson if those were his numbers for the entire game, and that's just his stats when he was on third down. Cortland Sutton came up huge, having another 100-yard game there. He did have that drop early on in the game, but then, followed it up and ended up completing and running a great route there on a great man corner in Denzel Ward. So a lot to be excited about from our offense. Now, the all of the hate right now and all of our heart palpitations are because the Broncos had put this out of, had gone up 10 a couple times, had gone up, and you're like, all right, this thing is over. And then all of a sudden, what happened is that Levi Wallace just was absolutely torched. So we saw Pat Surtain is the best corner in football, and then you have Riley Moss, who has been playing at a phenomenal level. Well, he went out with an MCL injury at the end of that Raiders game. Allegedly, he could have played at the end of that Raiders game. He could have even played today, but out of abundance of caution, he was held out, and so Levi Wallace was put in. And from the very get-go, you just saw dudes more open than you have ever seen in pro football. I've been watching football my entire life, and I can't remember ever seeing wide receivers as open as Jerry Jeudy was. Like, we didn't even have to worry about him dropping it because he was so wide open. We had this year where at one point, like this was in the first half, that he had 9 targets, 5 receptions for 137 yards allowed on him. And so everyone and their mom was tweeting, please take him out, or please only put Jerry Jeudy was their only option. Like, why are you not just putting Pat Surtain on him in the entire game? And so finally, at the very end of that game, you see that we put in Chris Abrams-Drain, and that is when the Cleveland Browns were stopped several times. We had a couple more picks of Jameis Winston after that, with amazing pick six from McMillian, amazing almost pick six from Cody Barton there at the end of the game, and that is it. So I think the reasons to be very excited going into our bye week is that the confidence is at our backs, because while this was a atrocious defensive performance, I think we will write it all off as like, all right, just wait till we get White Thunder back. Just wait till Riley Moss is back. And so we don't come into this game like thinking that we just let Jameis Winston and Jerry Jeudy break league records on us and have the best fantasy football night of all time. We come in and say, all right, well, when we're back to our A squad, we're going to be in good position there. I also think this helps the Denver Broncos make sure that we get to hang on to Vance Joseph. His name had been thrown about in a lot of head coaching candidacy rumors, and so I think letting Jameis Winston do that, we know how good this defense is. We know that most nights Vance Joseph is going to have this defense humming. This was the worst performance of the year, and even with the worst performance of the year, the Denver Broncos find a way to eke out the victory. We are feeling good. We are riding high into our bye week. Let me know how y'all feeling. Who was your player of the game? Who does your game ball go to? Enjoy this one, Broncos Country. We are 8-5 at our bye. We've just rattled off 3 straight. Really, if we don't have that blocked field goal, we are talking the Broncos had rattled off 4 straight. I think we have bounced back perfectly. We have all the confidence going into our bye. We have a 2-game lead with 4 games to play with the wind at our backs, and we've got a ton to believe in. Levi Wallace is guarding that hoop. Come on.